Hey, what's going on once again, ladies and gentlemen, especially fanboys and fangirls, the one, the only, Mr. Criticism Guy 2009, aka Nintendo for 2011. So, hopefully read it up above and below. I do have a little slideshow for you guys to show, but that's probably gonna be at the end of the video. So if you guys are patient, bear with me. I will show that off. Other pictures I didn't get to show Pokemon. So this is my top 10 really. I already did this before my Nintendo Freak and probably twice over here on the Criticism Guy channel, but I haven't done it in a while. Sorry about that noise in the back. Hugest apologies because some people, they don't know when it's 4th of July because they like to fucking throw fireworks all over the place. But yeah, so without further ado, number 10, as you can see, is Weavile. And this is going from top 5 best elemental types. So my favorite from 1 through 5, it's Dark, Steel, Dragon, Electric, and Ice. Those are the favorite top 5 elemental types. But I'm doing it in pairs. So it's top 10 and top 5. And I'm sorry if you hear dogs barking in the background, I give shit about that. So yeah, Weavile, the reason why I really love this Pokemon, I've said it twice on my Nintendo Freak channel, but I'm going to say it again. Oh, and I got some water here, so just in case you guys are wondering why I'm taking a break, you know why. Oh shit, almost knocked the computer there. I would have been really fucking bad. Anyways, the reason why Weavile is so fucking epic, of course it was the second evolution for 2nd gen, Johto regions. When I first saw this Pokemon, one of the most greatest fucking things in the world, even though it sucked because you had to use a Razor Claw so you can evolve it at night. So I had that whole Umbreon thing going on with it. This was Weavile's kind of like the Umbreon of the Sinnoh region. Instead of the 2nd generation was Sneasel and Umbreon at that time. They were brand new dark types. People weren't knowing what to do, especially 90s or early 2000s. Kids like me, you probably kind of knew what that was like at that time. We had no idea what dark types were. We were just getting introduced to them. Now we got this brand new, well, it's not brand new. The last new type that was in a couple months ago, which is actually last month because Pokemon X and Y came out with the Fairy type. That completely changed a lot of different things. That's going to be a rant for something else, but right now I'm doing my top 10. But yeah, the only thing I know is that it's weak against poison and it's good at Steel and Dragon types. That's all I know, the Fairy type. And back in the days, Fairy type was just monster category. It wasn't a type until way later on, of course, this year. 2013, almost 2014, because it's November now. Still gotta get to Thanksgiving and Christmas and shit. You know what it is. So yeah, Weavile, you know, it's definitely epic as fuck. I would definitely choose it on my Elite 4 team a lot back in the days. Definitely fucking worth waiting for because that thing, besides it having a really good ass attack and accuracy, especially special attack is where it shined. But since it was a Dark and Ice type, it had a 4 times weakness to like fighting type moves, which really fucking sucked. So every time I would go against an opponent that had a fighting type Pokemon, I'll just switch that thing really back real quick unless they ended up using like main or you can't switch or they had the arena trap ability. Then I was fucked up. That's pretty much hardcore, which really fucking sucked. They irritated the living shit out of that happened. So that's all I say about Weavile. Of course I like the design. Not enough furry stuff, even though I'm really into that shit too, but I'm not gonna get too much into that stuff. There's certain pictures I couldn't show. I was probably gonna end up getting a copyright strike. That would have sucked. And then that's all I gotta say about Weavile. It's ice attack moves. The only good one the only one that was actually really fucking good is Blizzard. The other one, Ice Shard, was okay too. When they introduced that to 4th gen and then 5th generation, it was a lot more accurate than it was in 4th. Icy one was still a piece of shit. The only thing that was good about it is it always lowers down speed. And that's all I gotta say. I think it could learn Metal Claw too, maybe. Yeah, that's all I had to say real quick. Sorry about that, I just got a text. So that's all I got to say about Weavile right there. So coming in at number 9, and that's not it. That was supposed to be for the end. That's Lantern, but that's going to be way later on. Coming in at number 9 is Spiritomb. The reason why I put Spiritomb on here, besides it being Ghost and Dark, the only way it's going to be fully Ghost type Pokemon is if you use Foresight on it, like if you use Noctowl or Machop or any other Pokemon that can learn Foresight. Basically, most of you guys know what's up there. And I just got a text, so I'm just going to read that thing really quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. So anyways, I was just getting some pizza delivery. That's going to be for later, though. Hopefully I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have to use part 2 in this video, because if I do part 2 in this video, it's going to be a lot longer than the first part. Just telling you guys right now, it might be a part 2. So Spiritomb, the reason why it was really fucking epic and badass in the battle, you know, I'm not sure if this is going to be in the RU, OU tier. I didn't really get too much on it because I'm not really into the metagames that much. It's okay, but to a certain extent it's kind of boring because you got to use a lot of defensive shit. And I'm not the biggest fan in the world on defense Pokemon. The Spiritomb, my god, shit. I learned so many good ass fucking abilities. And if you put double team on this thing is gonna be a fucking beast. Even though it's probably a ban type move in the meta games, I could personally not give a shit about that because the design and all that texture that it has, I think it has 666 souls, so it's kind of like some demonic devil reference. You know, Mark of the Beast 666 type of shit going on there. Another really dark, really treacherous fucking story about Spiritombs that is supposed to be like the lost souls of human souls, just like how Yamask is supposed to be in the 5th generation. He was kind of like the Yamask of 4th gen. And the thing that made it creepy as fuck is that in the games, especially in Misty Dungeons and Mysterious Treasures, not Mysterious Treasures, that's the TCG like trading card thing. I'm gonna do that in like January, in like 2 months from now. Another thing that made it really fucking cool as hell is that in the Mysterious Treasure, Dark Explorers, or whatever the fuck they're fucking called, and the little like mini games, they're not like the official Pokemon games. That thing was like one of the big time overpowered OP bosses in that game. Like with Arbok, like Team Arbok, Team Weavile, and Team, I forgot the other one. Fuck, what was it? Arbok, Weavile, and I think Seviper. It was either that one or Glyspore, one of those two. But anyways, like, getting back to my point, Spiritomb, you know, that thing was a sweeper when it came to like putting the stats on it and everything. Especially, I'm not sure if it can learn Calm Mind, but I doubt it. That's usually a Psychic type Pokemon that can learn that. But I think the only weakness it really does truly have is fighting, if you use Foresight. But if not, you're gonna have a hard time taking this fucking thing down because it will be a pain in the ass. It's giving me a couple fucking migraines just by kicking that little fucker's ass. But nevertheless, it does look awesome as hell. I do give it credit for its text design and the backstory, the Pokedex entry. It's a little creepy as fuck. It's around there with Bayonet and Duskull, or Dusknoir. So yeah, coming in at number 8. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I already did 10 and 9. My second favorite types are the Steel types. Hopefully you guys like this more. And some of you guys probably saw this coming, some of you didn't. It's fucking Steelix for the fucking win. My god! When I first saw this fucking Pokemon right here, I'm telling you, this thing was freaking epic as hell. When I first saw it in the old school Japanese anime for like Pokemon 2nd generation, when Ash still had Misty and Brock as his friends, that thing scared the fuck out of me. But at the same time, I loved it every single minute of it. I mean, Steelix, only thing I had a problem with is I couldn't get it because, you know, I was kind of antisocial at that time. I didn't have that many friends back in the days. It kind of sucked really bad for me. I didn't have a shitty ass horrible childhood. It's just that, you know, I didn't have that many buddies at that time. But I did with my cousins, so I was able to trade it with them. Awesome as fuck, by the way. This is back when I was still in New York and shit. I really love the attacks. The first Pokemon to ever learn Iron Tail and Slam at the same time. And then later on, it got even more boosted up. In 3rd gen, they didn't make no appearance. In 4th gen, he came back. We were able to catch Steelix, thank God. He didn't have to use the fucking metal code or like trading anymore. When he went to Iron Island, he could just catch it right there. You don't have to worry about having an Onyx hold the metal code, then evolving it. Because in Fire Red, Leaf Green and 3rd gen on there, it was supposed to be a homage reference to 1st and 2nd gen, but at the same time, it was a little bit for 3rd generation too. What I really loved about Steelix, besides the design, evil, sinister grin on its face, like it's wanting to devour the living hell out of your fucking soul. I'm telling you, man. This thing looked like a fucking monster. I remember in 4th generation, it made its appearance in another anime episode with the Bidoof and Bibarel, or Bibarel. That's what I call it, Bibarel, not Bibarel. When he was destroying all the dams, all the pack of Steelix, they hated the Bibarels because, you know, they were water normal. The first normal water type ever, and ended up being those shitty Pokemon. A lot of people refer to that one, Bidoof and Bibarel, as ancient slaves. I couldn't agree with them more. And that thing was just epic. It was a lot more badass in the anime than it was in the game. Because in the game series, he was hardcore. The only thing that fucked him over was super effective, which I'm trying to remember. I think it was like ground type moves, maybe. That or fighting, because I think that was Tyranitar that had double super effective or 4x weakness for all you metagame professionals out there. It had 4 times weakness to fighting. I'm not sure if that was the case for Steelix or not, but nevertheless, the cards, I don't have any of the cards yet. I know in the latest generation after X and Y, before that, was X and Y Plasma Blast or whatever. In the Plasma Blast, I still don't have them, only got Onyx, still need that fucking Steelix so I can complete that deck. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about Steelix. So, moving into number 7, if I can find it, because I really it's fucking Magnezone. The reason why Magnezone's up there is because he's a homage. He's paying homage to like the first generation, you know, back when Magnemite and Magnezone were just pure electric types until they ended up becoming steel in the second generation. Because back in the day, we were able to like sweep this thing problem. But the second that thing became steel type, then he actually became a huge ass fucking threat. Because any normal type attacks, any of those other type attacks besides normal electric or any steel or what else is out there, wasn't very effective. Poison types, you couldn't hit it with poison types anymore because steel types got an advantage to that. They have no effect at all on them. That's when Magnemite and Magnezone started becoming an issue. When they put Magnezone in 2007, when Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, later on in 2009 for Platinum, came out, that's when it made it worse. And I think the only way you were able to like evolve this thing into Magnezone if you went to that special mountain location where you evolve Nose Pass and the Probo Pass, which I completely forgot the name for it. I think it was called Mount Coronet. Yeah. The place where you get Arceus, Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina. And then the three lake trios, which was Uxie, Azelf, and Mersprit, or Mesprit, however you want to say it. The one with the little Jamaican braids. Anyways, other than that, the thing that was really cool, I really loved about Magnezone, because he was able to learn Discharge and Zap Cannon on its own. You didn't have to put a TM on there. And you didn't have to have a hold metal coat or anything like that. You didn't have to have no special evolutions for it besides making it go up to Mount Coronet and training over there. Then that's the only way that was a special evolution for Magnezone. Another really cool thing in 5th generation, they beefed up its special attack and attack. Not special attack, special defense and attack. I mean special defense. They beefed it up a lot more than it was for 4th gen when they introduced the Unova region. Which I really liked it because in the metagames that thing was a huge ass fucking sweeper. The only thing that was trying to remember was 4 times weakness against. I don't think it was anything really. That's pretty much it. I think it was just ground types. Unless you gave it that one ability that's called, not levitate, but the other ability, attack. What the fuck is its name? It kind of escapes my mind a little bit. I forgot what it was called, but it's called, I think it's called levitate. Not levitate, but the other version, the electricity one, which I can't remember it right now. And then you could put a balloon on it too, and then hot air balloons, where you could put it on the Magnezone, so it doesn't get hit by ground type moves, because that's like the only thing that's 4 times weakness against, is that double super effective. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name now, but it'll come to me probably later on. So that's Magnezone for you. And then coming in a number, okay, we covered Dark, we covered Steel types, we covered Weavile, Spiritomb, Steelix, and Magnezone. So coming in on my third favorite, the Dragon type. I hope you guys love the Dragon types too. An old school homage of mine. I definitely got to pay tribute and pay respect to this thing because it was one of the first Dragon types ever to come out. Fucking Dragonite. My god, I can't tell you how much I fanboyed the crap over this thing besides Blastoise, because I didn't really like Charizard that much. Even though it's a dragon, now it's a dragon fire type in X and Y, which is fucking awesome as hell. I'll give them credit for making it look a lot more hardcore than it was in the old school days. Way back in my days and shit. Sound like I'm fucking 80 years old. Then I'm like 20 something. But yeah, other than that, you know, what can I say about Dragonite? This thing was so fucking badass, I'm telling you, man. This thing, especially in the games like with Pokemon, not Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, which unfortunately I didn't own an N64. One of my cousins, I would play them at his house on the weekends, because I only had PS1 and Super Nintendo back in the days. And of course I get the stuff way later on. But that's for another story. But other than that, the thing that was really fucking awesome about this Dragonite was that, you know, first he had it, this thing comes from a little baby Dratini to a Dragonair, which was one of Claire's favorite Pokemon right there. It was her signature ones, obviously. The Dragonite later on, in Heart Gold Soul Silver, they finally gave her a fucking Dragonite. About time, you know? It made like 2 movie appearances, which was really freaking amazing. And then it'll be an Iris's Pokemon later on for the Unova region for 5th gen. Which, that Dragonite was kind of a little bit of a bitch. I'm sorry, but it was kind of disrespectful, a little bit of an asshole prick. But it had respect for Charizard because, you know, Charizard and Dragonite, that thing was a dynamic fucking duo in that generation. That's all I'm going to say right there. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Dragonite. Its flying attacks are a lot more stronger than its Dragon type moves. I don't know why I'm saying that, but of course you can put Outrage on anything and give it a fucking King's Rot. Scope Lens, whatever you want. Choice Scarf that bad boy up and you're fucking set to go. So that's number 6. Coming in at number 5 really quick. Hopefully I can get this right. Number 5 is the other dragon type Pokemon I really loved a lot back in the days was Salamence. The reason why I like Salamence was back when, like, after first and second gen was done, and you had the home region going in on it. Sorry about that. Oh my god, I gotta get new lotion. That, and I gotta get some new hairspray too, and lotion, whatever. But that's for another story. I'm sorry if I keep getting off track. My mind isn't really in the right place right now. I just took a nap and shit. Woke up from a nap, excuse me. Salamence, my god, can I tell you how much more badass and epic this thing was? He was a Dragonite of the home region, that's all I'm going to say. That one and Metagross were my favorite ones. Unfortunately, Metagross, spoiler alerts, he's not on this list. I already put him on another list a couple months ago. If you guys haven't checked that video out, got over 1,000 views. Thank you for every single person that watched that one. You're forever, I'm forever in your fucking debt. The reason why Salamence was cool, if you read his description as a Bagon, it always dreams of one day flying the skies of a dragon-type Pokemon, and Shelgon, it's waiting for its evolution so it could finally get its wings. And they finally evolved into Salamence, even though you had to wait all the way to, like, I'm not sure if it was 50 or 55 like Dragonite and Garchomp, but, damn. This thing was just so fucking pro. Especially in the anime, it was really amazing in the anime. I remember that hunter Lady Jane, she is the one that ended up stealing all these other Pokemon. He had Salamence, and then later on in the 4th generation, she ended up having Drapion afterwards when she made her second appearance after that. After Ash was done traveling with May and Max, and he ended up traveling with Dawn later on, and she ends up catching Drapion, and then she shows her old Salamence again. That thing was fucking hardcore. It's all his fire type moves, fucking flawless as hell. They never fucking miss. He's always on point with the fly attack. Of course, I always used to put Fly, Dragon Claw, Draco Meteor when the 4th generation came out. And what else did I put on him? I think I will put Ice Beam on him a couple of times. I'm not sure if he was able to learn that, but back in the day, I know he was able to learn it in 3rd gen. And they might have changed that later on for 6. I really wish they would have had a Mega Evolution for this thing. I would have been so fucking happy if they did, but sadly they didn't for X and Y. So I was a little pissed off and aggravated at that, but at the same time in the metagame, I think this was like, what's it called? OU. I think he was probably in the OU tier because he was overly used. So many, I can't tell you how many times this thing was used like a motherfucker. I'm telling you. This thing was used like clockwork. This was banked right here. He was the bank of all Pokemon for Dragon type. So coming in number 5, and I'm probably getting that wrong, but now let's move on to my 4th favorite, which is, I'm getting this right. Actually, yeah, my ice types, even though Lapras is an ice type Pokemon, but sorry about that. It's not easy to see with my glass. It is not. So yeah, there's Salamence right there. So that's number 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I mean, number 4. Excuse me, I fucked that up. Regice. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put Lapras on there anyways. Even though water type's not my really favorite type, even though I did love Blastoise back in the days, but that's for another story. Lapras, the reason why this thing is on here, it was one of Ash's greatest Pokemon back in the Orange Island League. You know, a lot of people didn't like that one. They thought it was a lot of filler and shit. I thought it was okay. It wasn't the greatest one in the world with Tracy replacing Brock. That did piss me off way back in the days in the 90s, but I got used to it after a while, you know? Because with Brock, he was always a player, a pervert all the time. I was. He kind of like resembled a lot of myself, how I used to be with bitches and stuff that back in the days. I'm not like that anymore. I was like that 4 or 5 years ago, but not anymore. But with Lapras, this thing was extremely a huge ass fucking powerhouse. This thing was literally a sweep beyond the imagination of any Pokemon trainer out there. Seriously. This is one of Red's. There's a difference between Red and Ash. If any of you guys don't know that, there's a lot of fanboyism over with Ash or Red, because Red is supposed to be the older brother of Ash. That's for like a little bit of a conspiracy theory thing I'm going to do on my Nintendo Freak channel. So definitely check that shit out if I ever get a chance to do it. I already did 4 of them. That might be my 5th conspiracy theory breakdown review. Another thing that was really cool shit about Lapras is that, like, it was always the same signature Pokemon that would always use Surf all the time. In 1st and 2nd gen. The 3rd gen, I think they changed that a little bit. It was a Wailmer instead of a Lapras layout. And then the 4th gen, I don't know what it was. I think it was like some Floatazone. And then 5th gen ended up being the same thing again. Except the only difference was it was like dark green instead of dark black. And then 6th gen, I'm not sure what it looks like now. I forgot because I haven't played X and Y still. But I'll probably play in December, January. Whenever I get money for it, we'll see what happens there. Another really cool ass thing I did love about Lapras, it was like some kind of unicorn My Little Pony thing. I don't know what it was. And this was back in the days when Gen 1, 2, and 3 MLP was out. I didn't care about that shit at the time because that one was mostly for girls until the 4th generation from MLP came out. That's when I started being a brony and shit. That's more of my Nintendo Free channel. But other than that, you know, Lapras was flawless. It knew Blizzard. It knew all these really strong ass moves. Waterfall. The Parasong is the only thing I didn't like about Lapras. That was the only like pet peeve I had with that Pokemon. Is that after 3 turns, it ends up fainting along with the Pokemon. Same with Destiny Bond. I didn't like Pokemon where they had to kill each other. That fucking sucked right there. Where they had to commit suicide or like really they're fainting, but they sugarcoat the word kill and suicide with faint. That's what it is. But that's for a whole other topic of debates right there. I'm not get to that. But I did love the fucking Lapras thing. It was really amazing. I liked the person who was playing their voice, the Japanese one, and like the other one. It was fucking phenomenal. I loved every single minute of it. I mean, that using Surf itself, that was a beautiful fucking picture. And I found that. That's it. Okay, number 3. If I can find it. Sorry. Regice. My god, fucking Regice. I know he's a legendary Pokemon and everything for the Hoenn region, but you know what? I don't give a shit. He's still one of my favorite Ice-type Pokemons of all time besides Lapras. The thing I really loved about him is like in the Pokemon Mystery of Mew, the one with Lucario and Mew, they were like trying to find and help each other and everything because they were like in the civil medieval wars back in the days. What I really loved about this Pokemon is that it was still able to use Zap Cannon and a lot of projectile moves. That superpower, one of the first Pokemon to ever learn that, that's when superpower was introduced back in the Hoenn generation, 3rd gen. Another really cool ass thing I loved about Regice is that little move, that auto-tune voice that it would make, even though I don't like auto-tune that much. But I did like it for these Pokemon, for Regirock and Registeel as well. And I did like Registeel. I did put him on my other list on my Nintendo Free channel, so if you want to check that out, go for it. But Regice is where it was at. Regirock, I didn't really care too much for him because he was just weak as fuck. I'm sorry, I just didn't care about him too much. It's funny, in 4th generation you had all 3 of them so you can get Regigigas and Sinnoh. That's freaking awkward as shit. And I remember there was a conspiracy theory story behind that. Facts and trivia. Shout out to Metrotech University. He actually told me about that thing. He said the reason why those 3 were banned, Regirock, Regice, and Registeel, so they can be safe from Regigigas, because he caused pain, torture, and destruction towards humans and Pokemon, and he didn't like it. He was a constant in Pokemon. He brought all 3 of them together, where all 3, the Ice, Steel, and Rock, he was able to be resurrected back from the dead. So it's crazy shit. Awesomest Pokedex entry in the world. And that's pretty much the reasons I love Regice. He's probably banned in the metagames because of his overpoweredness. Same with the other legendary types. The only time I think they're not banned is if you're not cheating on them. That's it. So the last 2, number 3, number 2 and number 1. And by the way, real quick, before I end up getting into these 2, because you already saw it, was Electivire and Lantern. And you guys probably already saw these coming, but what else? The thing I really liked about Electivire is that this Pokemon right here, he was fucking phenomenal as hell, seriously. In 4th generation of Sinnoh, some people kind of complain, like my real good friend Blaze, a movie fan. I know he watches both of my channels, shout out to him. Definitely check his stuff out. He does really good movie reviews. He does a couple Let's Plays and stuff like that. And then he does a couple animation stuff. So if you like this dude, he's really, really cool as hell. He's got a really cool ass accent, by the way. He's a badass. Definitely check his shit out. Really big Family Guy Simpsons fan like I am, because I love Family Guy and Simpsons and South Park. So I know I'm not the only one out there that loves that shit. So if you like that stuff, I'm going to plug his channel in as well. I'm plugging a lot of people's channels in today. Fuck. But yeah, Electivire, oh my god. I know he didn't like it very much because it was already overpowered as Electabuzz. Even though I had the pre-baby evolution Elekid and Electabuzz and Electivire. The thing I loved about him, besides him being Volkner's Pokemon, one of the gym leaders in Sinnoh, is that this thing was a fucking madhouse of destruction and despair. My god. I think I only seen it once in a Japanese anime too, unfortunately, with Dawn and everything. I think it was when he was in the Elite Four or whatever, or he was in the Forest. I really can't remember. My mind was shitty when it came to that memory. I'm sorry. But other than that, the thing I really loved about him is that they had this 2 big giant tail wires in the back. I'm surprised he didn't learn Iron Tail or anything like that, you know, or Tail Slam like a Gen, you know. So sorry about that. I'm throwing shit all over the place today. What the fuck? The thing I really loved about him the most was like besides the design and the texture, he was like a bear meets a lion. He was like the electric version of Ursaring. That's how I felt how he would be classified as. That's what I really loved about him the most. Of the electricity, the pulse he would use. I loved all the TCG, the trading card art for Electivire. Unfortunately, I don't have an Electivire. I think I only got Electabuzz, and that's it from Boundaries Cross. That's it. Most of you guys should know that if you've read not read it. You didn't read my Facebook and Twitter because I didn't post it that day. If you've seen any of my videos before, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I did my speed runs like about a month or two ago. I'll be doing the next one like I said earlier in January. Be on the lookout for that. And most of you guys know what number one's going to be because you've already seen it. It is Miss fucking Lantern. The reason why I like Lantern, this thing was really, really underestimated a lot, unfortunately. There's not a lot of people that do like Lantern that much. It's the second edition of Chinchou. The reason I loved Lantern a lot is because way back in the days when I went to Mexico, I was still living with my family back then. My 90s kids day, I went out to Mexico to see my other side family. Fortunately, none of them was Spanish at that time. I was still a huge Pokemon fanboy back then. I still am now, just not as much as far as the animes. The trading card game shit's still fun, and like the games are still good. That's it. I really don't like the anime that much anymore like I used to. But other than that, the reason why I really love Lantern most is because I saw beluga whales that kind of look like this Pokemon in real life. That one and the killer whales. I love those things to fucking death. It brought me so many memories when I used to like pretending I was petting them and stuff. They look exactly like this Pokemon. That's why I really love Lantern a lot. Got a special fucking place in my heart. I love the hell out of this thing. I used to use this in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th gen. I would always use this against the Elite Four. I'm not sure in 5th gen it was a little bit different because they did cut its attack and special attack in half. That pissed me off a little bit because in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gen it was the same, but when they made it the Univ one, they fucked it up, which sucked. Its defense and special defense was still really hardcore. Its speed was fairly decent, wasn't that great, but I loved it nevertheless. It was the very first electric and water type Pokemon. That's something I've always wanted, and I'm glad we finally got it back in the days. Hopefully it gets a Mega Evolution like the one I did show you, which I'm going to show you in a second right here. Here it is. Not that Lantern, this one right here. It looks fucking badass, if I do say so myself. And I can't fucking get it. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a technical difficulty with this one. There's Magnezone right there. It looks fucking boss. This Mega Evolution, this is the one I was talking about. Look at the fucking eyes. Look at the terror in your fucking faces. It's got to be fucking epic as hell. I'm telling you right now. And you can see the Lantern right here. You can see the real one. This is the fan-made version right here of Lantern. If you guys can see, that's the real one. These are all fan-made versions. Shout out to all the people that made all these really amazing Pokemon fan arts and DeviantArt. I probably won't post a link to them because there are way too many of them. But just go on DeviantArt, search it for yourself. And that's pretty much all I had to say. There's no honorable mentions in this one because I decided to leave that part off because I'm probably going on 20 minutes right now. So that's all I have to say for now. So like I always say, it's what it is, ain't what it ain't. See you when I see you guys. Every day. Have a good night wherever you're at around the world. Don't drink and smoke weed at the same time. Don't do anything reckless. I will talk to you guys soon. Lates, goodbye. Be easy. Peace the fuck out. Gone. I'm getting the fuck out of here. One last real quick announcement before I do go really quick. I will be getting for my Nintendo Freak 2011 channel. And you know a lot of people, they get like Pokemon sleeve cards. You know, the protectors that protect the cards from getting damaged. I'm going to be getting that at the end of this month. When I do my Hunger Games Catching Fire movie review. Be on the lookout for that shit. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. I'm gone. And I'll see you then when I do the Hunger Games review November 22nd or 23rd around Thanksgiving. Stay tuned for that shit. I'm done, and I'll talk to you guys soon, okay? And I just closed my account. Alright, late, and take care. I'll see you soon. I'm getting the hell out. Peace.